transmission of these ways. And Elizabeth, one of the conversations that I think is a conversation I'm sure we'll be having for the rest of our lives, a conversation that feels so important to continue to try to grok, to continue to get back into over and over and over again, is this conversation about the transition from the third level to the fourth level. And I was wondering if you could talk more about that and the book that you've written about that, and what that means and why it's important on the planet right now.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thank you again for having another one of our beautiful chats. I love it. Yeah, so I started working in the tradition at what I came to understand this over time, at what people call the highest rung of the third level. And it's super, super interesting. The third level is considered, so if we talk about the levels for a minute, when we're born, we are the son or daughter of our mom and dad. This is and we relate to our village or our small town or our neighborhood or however you want to think about it. And this is kind of the resonant field of our identity. So from the Andean point of view, since everything is based on the perception of living energy, this is the expansive area of our bubble. And as we grow up and we go from our little neighborhood or our little village to the nearest large city to where we are, we recognize, oh my goodness, I'm a part of this human group and this larger area of land. And our identity expands. And that's the second level. So it's called Yakta Ayu. Ayu level and Yakta level, which is like the village, family level, and then the city level. And then as we grow up further, we may one day travel more extensively in our country and recognize that these are all people that speak our same language. And then on the day we leave our country, we're like, oh my gosh, I really relate to my nation, my people, my country, and my bubble expands to that level. When you think about it, that's pretty advanced to resonate your energy field to your entire cultural framework, your country. And from the Andean point of view, that includes the entire land mass. And the Andean people would say America is so powerful because it's such a big land mass and has such a mix of peoples. Because always mixing peoples makes power from the Andean point of view, right? Because you have the Tinqui, Tupai. Tinqui is to meet, Tupai is to conflict or to challenge, and then the Take is when the blending happens. That's where the power comes from. So the US being a melting pot would make our place very powerful. Okay, so then the fourth level is this level at which we spoke about in an earlier chat, what the astronauts call the overview effect. Like once they leave the planetary body and they see the entire Earth, it's almost as if they have a kind of a mental snap, a breakthrough of seeing and understanding and comprehending, like an initiatory experience that the entire planetary body is one living system and we belong to that. And that is our teacher, you know, from the Andean point of view. That's Pachamama. That's our home, and that's our, in some way, if you expand your identity again to the entire global body, to the entire living field of the planetary body, that would be the fourth level initiation. So literally the Andean masters say we're in a big transition from the third level to the fourth level, which is comprehending ourselves in terms of division, which they would call adolescence, of course.
Mm.
And you know, you don't see this anywhere more than during the World Cup in Europe when, you know, the Spanish are all behind their Spanish team and the Italians are behind the Italian team, and, you know, and it's fun, but it's really that experience of you're really cheering for your team and your whole country is backing you. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's powerful. But the point is that we need to evolve beyond that. The third level is kind of characterized by really everything we think about with adolescence. The authority is outside ourselves. We are like an adolescent. We're trying to become an adult, but we're maybe failing, you know, at times and not perfect at it, of course. And there's nothing wrong with the third level. It's like we have to go through it. We have to fully experience it to be able to move to the next level. So the third level is all about basically fear is the emotion that characterizes it, projecting our shadow, you're not owning our power yet, but learning through projecting the shadow, seeing different parts of ourselves, the sort of comprehension of separate, division, all of these things, and feeling the victim. This is another characteristic of the third level. At the fourth level is defined by love. The third level is defined by conflict. The fourth level is defined by harmony.
Mm.
So think about it, the job of the adolescent is really to conflict with authority until you're able to internalize your own authority. We bump against it, we bump against it, we bump against it until we're able to go, okay, I'm the boss of myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is what happens in the transition from the third to the fourth level. So fear in all its multi nefarious forms, you know, and all it's subtle and interesting and crazy and, you know, sometimes undetectable or difficult, or forms that are very difficult and hard to detect, will come up in every way. Challenges will come in our face. This is what happens when we're moving from one level to another. So if you decide you really want to move to the fourth level, all the challenges of the third level will come to you, guaranteed. In many different forms. Yeah. So get ready. But the other thing is we have the teachings of the fourth level to help us overcome that. And that's the beauty. We have the nectar teachings of how to make harmony within our own body. When we do that, we stop projecting our shadow outside, to start owning our shadow and recognize. And remember, the shadow just means that which is disowned. So it could be our beauty, it could be our sensuality, it could be our intelligence that we have in our shadow. And we project it out on other people and then we're jealous of them. But this is really just ourselves and we need to own it and integrate it. So that's part of the psychology of moving from the third to the fourth level. It's also more fun. Oh, it's a lot more fun. Yeah, third level is challenging. Challenging, good too, but challenging. Yeah.
Well, something that you shared with me recently, Elizabeth, has really been resonating with me, which is this concept that awareness that at the fourth level, we really need to be working with the nature beings and we need to be harmonizing in that way. And I just wanted to thank you for that wisdom, and also just share with everyone too that on your website you have these incredible meditations that are intended to help support people in, you know, learning to operate their energy body at the fourth level and, you know, begin that transition to do that. And so just wanted to mention that, and your book, The Fourth Level, that you've written, which is all about this concept and teaches us, you know, everything we need to know about this transition, and also talks about the nature parents and how that's so important to understand, how we're supported by these nature beings, in the place of our birth, and how that supports our destiny. And there's just a lot of
Exactly.
incredible wisdom that is just, really truly life changing once you start to do it. And so yeah, I just wanted to share that. Your website is Elizabeth B. Jenkins at no, yeah, elizabethbjenkins.com. Yes.
Yes.
And
Exactly right, Ellen.
the
And
media page is the Handbook of
yay.
Meditations.
I just want to leave you guys with this thought. I was teaching a course in New York a while ago, and I was walking along the streets of New York, and I felt this incredible power underneath my feet, like I'm riding a skateboard. And I look up, and there it says Wall Street and stock exchange. And Pachamama Wall Street just starts giggling underneath my feet, and I hear her, and she goes, "Oh, it's going to be so fun when human beings realize the true meaning of Wall Street, or the Wall Street at the fourth level is when all of the traders in Wall Street make exchanges with the express intention of the benefit going to the largest number of people." So there's another example of the transition from the third to the fourth level. Won't that be something to see?
That is a vision to hold and a prayer to hold. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, well, until next time, thank you again for your time.
Aloha.
Aloha.